We're with Sydney Collentine, one of the seniors on the Eastern Connecticut field hockey team. The Warriors getting ready to open up their season on Wednesday at Johnson & Wales University. Sid, you guys have just wrapped up your preseason. It was sort of an eventful preseason. You had a lot of heat. You had to stop because of a hurricane. In general, how did the preseason go, though, as compared to maybe the other preseasons you've been here with?
I think that having a preseason in general was an adjustment for everyone. Last year we didn't have one. Before that we had a very hot one. And then this one, of course, we lost about 2 days to rain and the hurricane. So that was just a tough time for all of us because we lost 2 days of conditioning, 2 days of running, 2 days of playing together. But we tried to make up for it with some team bonding, some chemistry activities, and just some time to really hang out because we've been hanging out, but it's all been field hockey related. So we're hoping to work on our team chemistry a little more with the time we couldn't be on the field together.
Well, is it easier this year to come into preseason? Because in the summer, when really your true conditioning takes place or should take place, you were pretty certain you were going to have a season this year. So did that help your mindset to be prepared for this season?
Yeah, definitely. Last season, we were very unsure all summer if we were going to have anything. And then eventually, right before our preseason started, we found out that all of the Massachusetts teams in our conference couldn't play. So we essentially lost half our conference. So trying to prepare for that season was very difficult. It was a lot of self-motivation, which a lot of people lost at points. I lost it a couple times myself. It was just really hard when we didn't know what was happening. But then when coming into this season, we came off last spring and we went 4-0. Well,
we started off
4-0, and then we ended 4-2, which was awesome for us. And I think coming off of that, all the returners were super excited to be back. And it was really easy to be motivated to play a full season because we haven't had one in over a year. So.
Did it sort of feel weird to be playing? You played 6 games in the spring and then suddenly you're back already again playing in the fall.
Yeah, it feels like we didn't stop. Last fall, we just got to practice like every single day. And then we had a short little winter break, and then we got right back into it. So I think we're all just excited last spring to be able to play a game. It didn't really matter what it was for, if it was counting towards something. We just wanted to play and get out there, which was great for us. And then actually coming in and getting games and a season and a championship and everything was just the icing on the cake. Like, it's an awesome feeling.
Talk about the stuff that you guys had to overcome. I mean, when last season started, you had barely enough bodies to be playing.
Yeah, we only had one field sub and one goalie sub when we started games last spring for all 6 of our games. That means like every girl played almost every minute, and we only had one sub, so they only got like a minute break, and then it was in and out. It was really difficult with injuries too. We had a couple injuries, and then a bunch of our girls played lacrosse and softball, so it was their true season for lacrosse and softball. So obviously we lost them, which was really difficult because we didn't know if we could steal them for a game or not. We stole Caitlin Miller from softball for a couple games on her off days just to play with us, so we had another person. And yeah, having a big roster this year, we have I think about 26. Having that is going to be really awesome to actually get more playing time for everyone, more subs, just trying to make our team a little stronger with some fresh legs.
Well, you know, when you went into the spring, you were tentative, and then you opened up your spring season, you beat Keene in overtime here. And you went into that game, like you were saying, barely having enough players. And after you won that game, did you guys say, hey, we can be pretty good?
Yeah, I think it was the combination of the uncertainty of if we could win, because we didn't know, but then also being able to play with each other all fall and all spring, and it being all returners. So we were comfortable with everyone. We had great team chemistry. That's what we used to win those 4 games in the beginning of the season. Because when it came down to it, we were like, well, I don't know if we're all going to be able to run the whole game. The first game against Keene was so difficult because we tried to be well-conditioned, but coming off winter break and snow and everything, it's hard to run and to be well-conditioned. So I think we all took it upon ourselves just to say, this is going to be for fun. We're going to do the best that we can, go out there, see what we can do. And then once we actually won, we were really surprised because Keene is our out-of-state rival. So beating them is like one of the best feelings.
It's gotta be.
Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
And then after you beat Keene, you go and you beat Plymouth, who you had only beaten a couple times ever. You go and you beat them back to back. That must have really reassured, like, hey, this is no fluke. That Keene game was no fluke.
Yeah, we definitely have a really strong group of returners. We played together for over a year now, and we're all doing really well still. When it came down to it, Plymouth has always been one of our rivals, but we beat them I think it was 3-0, 4-0 the first game. And they when we played them again, we played them back to back. It was the same kind of feeling. I think they scored on us, but still, we had the same adrenaline, the same energy. We all flow really well together. We all work really well together. We know each other's presence on the field, so you can kind of pick up on their patterns. So, I think the group of returners we have is really strong right now. So I would love to see how the integration of our newcomers continues to happen and to see how we can all play together.
Well, when you came in as a freshman, there was 8 freshmen, and 5 of them are still with the program, and the 6th one was Mary Greenwell, who would have been back if she didn't graduate in 3 years. So basically that would have been 6 out of 8. And that's got to be a major plus for you, just in terms of you have 5 players who have played for 3 years together and as starters or key players.
Yeah, definitely. The 5 of us have seen a lot of playing time since freshman year, and we've all kind of stayed in the same general area. We make a diamond in the middle of the field, so it's 3 mids and then a forward and a defense. And I think we've all played really well together. We mesh really well together. We're all super close, so I think that really translates on the field, and it's going to be definitely a key part in keeping our team alive and doing well. But I know that any player on our bench or any sub that we have or literally anyone on the team can be a key player in this team, and they have so much potential and can be thrown into any game, any scenario, and I think anyone can do really well.
Well, talk about that diamond. Who comprises that diamond, which is basically seniors, I think?
Yeah, so our 3 mids right in a row are myself, Bryce McCula in the center, and then Brianna Nolan on the right, and then behind us in defense is Caitlin Miller, and then our forward is Corey Callahan. So the 5 of us have kind of been there for the past 3 years all together, and I think we just work really well together, and I think this is going to be a really great year for us.
It would be a great culmination for all you seniors to go out. Was there a goal for this year? Anything tangible?
Yeah, our goal as a team was to be top 2 in conference, which is possible because we don't know how any other team plays. As I said before, we lost all of our Massachusetts teams last year, so we don't know who came back. We don't know who played. Our Castleton didn't play. Westcom barely played. Southern Maine didn't play either. There's a bunch of teams that just didn't get a chance to play, so we don't know how they're going to be. So when it comes down to seeing how far we can go in this conference, I think we have a lot of potential because we got to play. That's a big leg up on everyone. We got the chance to play together and to work well together. So when it comes to adding more people to the mix and more people on our team, I think we do have a lot of potential. But we're not going to know until we face these teams because there's no film anymore. You don't know who's on the team. So
A lot of unknowns going into this year.
Definitely.
Right? But you had some coaching changes among the better teams in our conference. You had Worcester State had a new coach, Castleton had a new coach, and you said a lot of those teams didn't play at all. So that's definitely got to give you a leg up. I would have to think that this could turn out to be possibly the best team in program history.
I'm going to say anything's possible because I do have faith in every player on our team right now. I think we're working really well together, and I think we have one more scrimmage before our first game and then a couple more days of practice. And I think with that and just working on playing with each other more, I think we could be really good, yeah.
Well, let's go back to what we had talked about off camera, is that you had the scrimmage at University of St. Joseph recently, and you won 3-0, but the way you were talking is there was still a lot to work on.
Yeah, just some background on St. Joe's. This is their first year. This is their first year with the field hockey team. They haven't had one before, so obviously they still had their own things to work out, and I think something that we really need to work on is not playing down to the other team. We need to continue to play our game and to make our passing patterns and spread the field and keep it wide and do everything that we've practiced for the past year. So when it really comes down to playing St. Joe's, yes, we beat them 3-0, which is great. I'm glad we have that scrimmage win. But I do think that a scrimmage is a learning experience. You want to see how you can play together. It's the first time we've all been on the field with subs and mixing everyone in and pulling starters out to put other people in, pulling returners out that you've played with for the past year without a sub. So you're trying to integrate everyone else, and yeah, I do think that we definitely have a lot to work on. Every team does. But when it comes down to it, I think that was a really good learning experience for us.
It'll be weird this year when you get pulled out for a sub. You're going to be looking around going, I'm not used to coming out of the game. But
Yeah.
you know what? The one thing that was noticeable in the spring, and it was different than a lot of our other teams in field hockey, is the fact that when you guys were in a tight game or losing, you could just see it in your eyes that it made you more determined, as opposed to saying, okay, we're losing now, you know what I mean, this game's over. It seemed like the game was not going to be over, even if you were losing in the spring.
Yeah, definitely. In the past, we have been a team that kind of puts ourselves in different situations where we are in close games, and that's happened so often. But the difference between the team we have now and the team we had 2 years ago is the fact that, like, when we put ourselves in those situations, we don't get discouraged. We use it as like a fire to help us, because like we really do want that win. But in the past, we might have just used it as something else to discourage us, and we couldn't come back from it in most situations if you look at our record. But right now, and compared to the spring, I think when we were down or we were playing teams that we weren't really confident with, we still showed up and did our best, and in most cases it paid off.
And that just comes with experience, right? When you got a large core of seniors and juniors, that comes with experience, having that mental attitude.
Yeah, and I think it's just because this group of returners, we have such a good team chemistry with. So when you have to play with each other, you have to help their attitude, you have to build them up. It's just so much easier because you know them so much better.
Yes, yeah. There's no substitute for knowing each other and having played together.
Yeah, that was one of our big goals over the summer. We wanted to get to know everyone, make sure everyone was comfortable, confident being on campus with everyone, so that it can translate on the field.
And you touched on this a little bit, Sid, but talk a little bit about the incoming group. You were saying off camera that they're a very comfortable group, or they're a very confident group, and they're adjusting really quickly.
Yeah, I would have to say, like, throughout the summer and even throughout preseason, we have 8 to 10 newcomers, or we have like 8 to 10. But they're just doing so well. They're so open. They're so friendly. They're so fun to be around. We've been working really hard during preseason just to make sure we do a lot of team bonding. We like talk to each other, make sure everyone's like doing good in their first week on campus, because like the adjustment is really hard for some of these people. And just by doing that, I feel like we're just making stronger connections. And I think they've adjusted really well. So I think they're going to be a really key part of this team this year.
They're going to add a lot of depth to you guys,
Yeah.
right? I mean, now, when you take out, I'm guessing when you take out a starter now, you may not be losing much when you bring in somebody off the bench.
Definitely. Everyone on this team has so much potential. And we've only been playing together for a little over a week now, but I think with this next scrimmage and a little more practice, I think we could work really well together.
Well, the one thing, this will be the last question, Sid, and I'll let you go.
Okay.
The one thing you seniors have never had to worry about is who's going to be playing goal, because you had Chiara Integlia, who is doing a graduate work now at New Haven and is going to finish out her career. But you've never had that, and we all know how important a goalkeeper is. How is that situation unfolding?
Honestly, I think we're doing pretty good. We have 2 junior goalies right now and a freshman goalie, and they've all really stepped up. They've been working really hard, and I think that they all have the potential to be really good at goal, and we trust them all. They're all doing great. I think that's something we've been working on, is like our communication on the field. So communication with the goalie is definitely a big thing, because Kira was such a big voice on the field.
Yes, she was.
So yeah, losing her was obviously an adjustment, but I think that the goalies we have right now can still do a really good job for us.
Good.
Yeah.
So Eastern Connecticut Field Hockey opens up its season on Wednesday, September 1st. They're going to be at Johnson & Wales University in a non-conference game. And they will be coming home on September 15th after playing 4 straight road games. They'll be hosting Springfield College in another non-conference game. Sid, thanks for being here. Good luck.
Thank you so much.